can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, you guys any...
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. I've got Bo with me. McLovin will be here shortly. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Everybody could be a Valentine. You don't have to be to all the women, to all the men. You know, we are going to dedicate a little bit of this show here specifically to Valentines across the world in terms of athletes that are dating. Some of the most famous couples, athlete couples, or just famous couples that deal with one at least being an athlete or not. How are you doing this Valentine's Day, Bo?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It should be a fun day, and but weirdly, I'm actually not going to spend a whole lot of time with my wife today. We both have just a bunch of stuff going on, so we're saving anything we're doing for this weekend.
That's all right. That's a good thing, I guess. So you'll celebrate Valentine's Day on Friday or Saturday. You can extend it. That's a good thing about Valentine's Day is that Hallmark does not have anything specific for that. And actually, if you really think about it, Valentine's Day was actually not a very good day. Saint Valentine was not very good. I think he was like murdered, and it was like
he definitely was.
It was like a bad situation. The Valentine's Day massacre. Lots of good and bad things have happened on Valentine's Day. Realistically, it's it's not supposed to be a very good day. But Hallmark took it over and said, "Hey, let's make this cheesy and happy." So more chocolate is sold and more roses are sold on Valentine's Day. It's actually the second largest. I think it's the largest for chocolates. I think it might be the second largest for roses. Maybe the first largest. Obviously, those two industries are going to do really well today. That being said, I think Mother's Day also falls into the roses category. That's why I'm unsure whether it's, Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. But I used to do a trivia thing for Valentine's Day where it's like there's something in the neighborhood of like 60 million dozen roses gets bought.
Yeah. And they'll be, they'll be $100+ today. But if you wait until this weekend, you can get a dozen roses for like $15 because they're all going to die anyway.
Probably even cheaper than that. You could probably get like 3 dozen for $15. But so, and that's it. Like, I'm actually going to be going to a basketball game tonight. I'm going to be watching the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers battle it out with a Valentine date as well. So she gets to be the privileged one who gets to come with me unpainted. I am not painting up today.
What?
Not going to do it. It's Valentine's Day.
How is that happening?
You know what? There's not many days that I get to do this. Typically, I do this one day a year, and it's the Christmas party. When I go to do the Christmas party, I drink during the Christmas party. So I do not want to be painted up while I'm drinking. I just want to set the good example for the kids. Big Valentine's Day, I kind of given myself, because it's that same type of holiday type of situation, I'm going to be there with a date. I don't want her to be my camera person, which is what happens a lot. When I bring somebody with me, they become camera guy. So to try to not have that happen so much, no paint today. So we'll
That makes
see
sense.
how many people. I'm sure I still will get recognized a little bit. People still know who I am from watching this show, and I appreciate that. So definitely keep tuning in. Because ultimately I look just as handsome with or without the face paint on. Uh, and today I'll probably look a lot better because I will have a lady by my side who will definitely probably, like I said, she'll make me look better just in general. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's
so
fair.
now that you're waiting for the weekend, do you have any specific plans that you're going to do with your wife for Valentine's Day?
No, I mean, not really. We'll probably go out to dinner and stuff, but we're not going to do anything crazy. We're headed to Hawaii at the end of the month, so we'll do most of our adventures, while we're there, because we're going to be there from the 28th through the 5th. So
Oh wow, that's a full week because you get that extra day in February this year. So you
yep,
do get and I would stay away from any houses that have blue roofs because ultimately there might be the next spot where fires are going to all of a sudden happen. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying that you may want to just look out for that type of stuff. Actually, I don't know. I think it might be still too soon for that joke. So
yeah, they're definitely still rebuilding. Obviously, that is the island we're going to. We are going to Maui, going there for a friend's wedding, which is cool. And then we have some friends that live on the island, so we're going to visit them as well.
I find that there is a lot of transit between Seattle and Hawaii. That
Yeah,
there's a good amount of. Uh, I've known a few people that are Seahawks fans actually
mhm,
that have gone via Hawaii to Seattle and then have moved on to other parts of the country.
sure.
A good friend of mine, Crystal, who I used to do a dating podcast with, interestingly enough, um, she is a Seattle Seahawks fan. If you could go back into the annals of Facebook, you might find the site Two Birds, because of course she was a Seahawks fan and I was an Eagles fan, and that was kind of the way that we would do things.
That's funny.
So yeah, and we were teaching, we were giving life lessons on dating, which
Right
is
on. I
right
mean,
what you need.
that uh, that flight is the same as flying to Florida from here. So that's why there's so much travel between here and the Hawaiian Islands, because it takes the same amount of time. So like for here, if we want to go to Florida, it's 5.5 hours. It's a 5.5 hour flight to Maui. It's a 4.5 hour flight to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So I mean, it's
So all right, but as you say that it's 5.5 hours flight time to
yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
What's the flight time back?
Well, that's air time. So I'm not including obviously time zones. That's just actual
No,
earned.
no, I'm that's what I'm talking about. The flight back from Florida to
Yeah.
Seattle, I have to imagine it takes an extra hour, if not more, 90 minutes, because you're flying against the jet stream.
Yeah, I mean it is a longer flight. Um, I guess I've never really paid that much attention to it. Usually my flights home from places I'm pretty exhausted, so I'm just watching movies, not really paying attention to time. Um, so
Thank
yeah,
God you're
yeah,
not a smoker.
definitely not. Yeah, 0 days in my life actually.
God bless. Yeah, I just went past the threshold of I smoked less than half of my life because I
Okay,
quit 12 years ago, actually 13 years ago now. And I started at age like 13. So
oof,
it's literally I just got past that threshold now where I have 25 years of smoking and I'm 51. So it's
there you go.
so anybody can
Yeah,
quit. Anybody can quit.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
I've saved a lot of money that I never see from not smoking.
Yeah. Well, it's because you just put it into other things.
Yeah, my drinking problem is really taken off since then. So
Exactly.
I tell you though, when I quit smoking, I won't lie, I weighed 168 pounds. I am
Oh,
a I filled out my body after that because I'm now somewhere around 230. But I was a you know, you wouldn't find me without 2 packs of cigarettes in my mouth, in my hands.
Oh wow.
That's how I did everything.
Oh, you had a
I was a
childhood kid
smoker.
smoking habit.
Yeah, I was a smoker. I would literally, it was always, and I tell you, so we have Wawas out here. I know that you probably are like, oh, what's a Wawa? It's a convenience store,
Oh,
that is, now they started putting out gas stations with them. So it's a little different, but it used to be like a delicatessen convenience store. And so you go in there, and I was, the last pack of cigarettes I bought was $4.99 a pack. So
okay.
I wasn't going to pay $5 a pack, and uh, they said I would go in there and I'd spend $10 on that, and then I'd spend another $10 on whatever.
Sure.
So it was $20 a day every day that year. And
Ooh,
if I was going out that night, I had to get an extra pack, so I would carry 3 packs on me.
damn.
Because ultimately I'm not like, if you know somebody asks me for a cigarette, I'm going to give them the cigarette. You know what I mean? It's like, even though they were starting to get expensive,
Sure.
but you're going to give them a cigarette, and then I wasn't going to give them a cigarette and not have enough for myself.
No,
So
that's
I
fair.
would,
Yeah.
yeah, so I literally would do it like that. And I knew I was one of those guys that when I quit, I needed to know the exact moment in time. And it was New Year's. Actually, as we were coming back, we were I visited family. Uh, my girl's family. I said the mother of my children's family, and she was in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And as we drove back, we drove through Kentucky. Well, if you want to buy cigarettes in Kentucky, they are super cheap. So where it was $5 a pack here, it was like $22 for a carton. And
Hmm.
looked at it, and this is 3 days before New Year's, and I said, "Wow, I $22 a carton. I should buy 5 cartons." And then I'm like, you know what? No, 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 yeah, because I'm going to quit on New Year's. I bought 1 carton of cigarettes. In 3 days, I smoked that entire carton of cigarettes,
Wow.
and it's literally, we're watching Dick Clark's, New Year rocking New Year's Eve, and it's like 7, 6, and I go to put the cigarette out. I'm like, I got a few more drags left. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Gave her a kiss. That's exactly how it did. At the
Wow.
time, so they had the little 72 packs. And I remember this clear as day, like it was yesterday. They had the 72s, and they were giving out coupons with the 72s for snus. So I would go get, you could get a pack of snus, which was only $1 at that time, or you could get the trial pack, which would give you 4 packs of snus.
Hmm.
So I'd get the trial pack every time. So
Sure.
I had this monster load of snus. I went through that in about a week, which was this little pouch. It wasn't like doing dip. I'm not a dip guy. Like,
Yeah.
get the hiccups and stuff like that. It wasn't really fun for me to kind of do that, and would do that. I bought one more pack of snus for $1, and after that, I was like, not doing. I'm not spending another penny on tobacco ever again, and I
That's fair.
didn't. And then not only that, because she was still a smoker, I wouldn't buy her pack of cigarettes either. So I'd be like, listen, this is my rule now. I quit smoking. You can't ask me to go buy a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. No, that'd be tough. Yeah.
And she would be angry at me because I'd be going inside to get something. She goes, "Can you just grab me a pack of cigarettes? You are going inside." I'm like, "Nope."
Can't do it.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't just do it? You don't have to smoke one? Listen, I'm not. I told you I'm not buying any more cigarettes ever, ever.
Yeah.
She it was uh, a point of contention for maybe the rest of our relationship, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, especially if she wasn't, trying to quit also.
So yeah, I mean, she wasn't, and she's still a smoker now. And I mean, I don't have a problem with smokers. I just know, hey, my mother smoked for 50 some years. She died of COPD and emphysema, and realistically, it's, I watched that all occur. I watched how when it came down to the very end, the doctor said, "No, we're not going to give you a couple of new lungs." And you know, she had said that she was going to quit a couple of different times and never did quit until
Yep.
it was way, way, way too late. So it's never too late if you can breathe. 7 years, 7 years, and you can also buy that CMOS stuff that will help get that stuff out of there. So go do it. Go do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I remember my parents quitting, when I was a kid. But, as a young kid, I remember collecting the camel bucks, right? Off the packs, and you'd be flipping through the little catalog to see what kind of cool crap you could get.
Yeah, they had to stop that. I did the same thing with Marlboro. I still have Marlboro stuff, and
Sure.
Marlboro still sends me coupons, like for because I continually give them out, so they get those coupons back. Like when they do the
Oh,
scan, the QR code or whatever it is now, they see that I still use those coupons because I give them out to somebody. But the Marlboro Miles, yes, I
yep.
had thousands. Thousands. I was going after the pool table. There was, I swear to God, you
Yeah.
needed 50,000 miles. They wanted you to have 10 people to do it because
Sure.
you needed like 50,000 miles, 5 miles at a pack. So, but yeah, I did it and I quit. And once you quit, I'll be honest, I still miss it. There are
Yep.
times when there's something about like when somebody lights a cigarette a specific way, the freshly lit tobacco, when it's straight tobacco and it's not some of the chemicals,
Sure.
still smells really good. But for the longest time in Philadelphia and in this area, they stopped smoking bars, but some bars got grandfathered in, and I used to love going to those bars because I love the smell of it.
I got you.
Now I can't. Now I cannot. It's like it's too much. Like my current girlfriend smokes, and she knows that after she smokes a cigarette, she's got to go wash her hands and brush her teeth because I
Yeah.
give her crap about it. I just give her crap. I
Yep.
says that you smell like a cigarette, and I don't want to kiss a cigarette.
Yep.
So
One of my favorite things, because I mean, when all the it, this is probably pretty much nationwide at this point, but um, when Seattle made the switch to get rid of smoking indoors, right? So now basically, unless you're on an Indian reservation, you can't smoke inside. And even there, a lot of those places just have areas that you can smoke, right?
right,
But one of my favorite things when they switched all of that is you didn't have to make that business decision of what it is you wanted to wear when you went out, right? You're like, oh man, I really like this leather jacket, but I'm never going to wear it to anywhere fun because it's going to take me a week and a half to air the thing out when I leave. And,
yep,
so I like not having to do anything with that anymore. You can pretty much just go places, but sometimes when you're traveling, you'll pop into places that allow smoking inside and it catches you off guard because you're so used to, here locally where it's not allowed anywhere that when you walk into a place that allows smoking, you're like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, one, I'm going to change and come back. And two, it's weird to see that cloud in the room because it's been so long.
yep. And there's still a couple of places around here that do it. When I play darts, there's a few spots that do, and like I can tell right away because my eyes start to burn.
Yeah.
I'm just not used to it, not used to it anymore. And it's it is what it is. Like I don't tell anybody else how to live their life, so that's okay. But I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean,
I
just because you
prefer
do
spots
something
now
different.
not smoking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just because you do something different doesn't mean it's better or worse, right? Like I drink, obviously. So that's not exactly optimal for long-term health, right?
Oh, exactly. It's like
So like if you
I
smoke, hey, you do you. I don't like it. I don't want to be around it. But I mean, I'm not going to hate on you for doing it.
well, and ultimately, I still and vaping doesn't make it any easier either. It's not. I'm
No,
not the vapor type guy either. It's just like, so I've stayed away from all tobacco products. I've tried the vape other stuff. Um, That's and I'm not a big fan of that either. Just not like I feel like it's fake. I still do carry around. I mean, obviously, I am 51 years old, so I uh, need some. I would have my card. I could have my medical card for uh, ingesting some other substances, and that looks like a cigarette when I use it, but
Yep.
for the most part, and it allows me to get away with it sometimes when like there's everybody smoking. I could just be like, oh yeah, pop in, perfect, done. So, but that's not what we're talking about today. We are talking about Valentine's Day. We went off on that smoking tangent for a little bit. Everybody, don't smoke. Just don't smoke. If you
Pretty much.
if you can quit, please do. It's really worth it. It will add time to your life. So, what we are going to talk about today for a little while is because it is Valentine's Day. I'm going to talk about some of the. There was something that was put out by Vogue magazine just recently. When I say just recently, within the past 6 months, of the 15 best celebrity athlete couples of all time.
Okay.
And and this has obviously come out because this, we are calcified. This
Yeah.
world is calcified right now. We have Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey, Jason Kelsey playing the third wheel, Kylie Kelsey in the mix of all this.
Yep.
And so ultimately, there is lots going on with that whole thing. But because we got Swifted a lot this Super Bowl, but they weren't the first massive couple
Sure.
that
Of
came
course.
in out of nowhere, and ultimately Vogue magazine said these are the top 15
Okay.
couples of all time. Any guess on who would be number one all time?
Number one all time. I have no idea. I don't. This is not something I track or have ever even really thought about.
So this is an old school couple.
Okay.
Old school. The number one all time couple. Not even a guess.
Man, I don't even know. I would
Joe
be useless on this.
DiMaggio,
Oh,
Joe
okay.
DiMaggio, and Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that
That
makes
is
sense.
that would be the number one all-time couple, and I think that makes sense. Obviously,
It,
Joe DiMaggio was an amazing baseball player. Marilyn Monroe was the blonde bombshell in most of the movies at that time. So they made a match made in heaven or hell, whatever you'd like to say about it. It didn't last very long because you. I won't say what I'm about to say there. So, because it is Valentine's Day, we're going to leave that all be. But they actually, Vogue says that they were the number one couple of all time. So, and I was like, okay, I can see that. Couple
I
number
was
two.
I was thinking with Rob here, Brady, Giselle, right? Like that one. That one made sense to me. That's
They are on
probably
the
somewhere.
list. They are on the
Yeah,
list.
yeah. But yeah,
I mean,
outside of that,
it's probably going to be somewhere. Yeah, you just don't pay attention. We're not Vogue readers.
that is true. That is true. And
I don't get many sports articles out of Vogue.
what? Crazy. I
This
mean,
was this was a hard one. This was a hard one just in general for me. So it was like, all right, let's see
I
what
mean,
somebody
you got
said.
Wilson Sierra. That's probably in there somewhere.
That is in there. That is in there. So here,
Yeah.
let's go over them real fast because I want to make sure that because this is a big uh, page. It takes up a lot of space on the thing, and it's probably making me you know skits out a little bit here. Um, Victoria Beckham, or AKA
Oh,
Posh
yeah,
Spice,
yeah.
and David Beckham.
Fair enough. I
Mandy
forgot about
Moore
him.
and Andy Roddick. Mandy Moore and Andy Roddick.
Didn't even know.
They look like a ridiculous couple. J-Lo and A-Rod.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I didn't really think about that because it was for 5 seconds, but sure.
Hey, then you have Kim Kardashian and Reggie Bush. They actually have that on the list. I mean, Kim is now with who is she with right now? Who did we hear?
I was going to say, how many times is she on this list?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. She could be on there 3 or 4 times. I just know that they all wind up losing afterwards. So
There's no doubt.
Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Forgot about that one. Forgot about Romo and Jessica Simpson too. So, yeah.
Yep, they're on this list. Giselle and Tom,
Yep.
Sierra and Russell,
Yep.
Kerry Washington and Namdi Asamoah. I'm like, that's an interesting one. I didn't realize he wasn't very good at football, but I guess he was good at pulling the chicks.
Hey, good on him.
Shakira and Gerard Pick. Now, I guess he's a soccer player because that's why I've never heard of him. But Shakira is definitely a good pull because hips don't lie.
That's right.
Mike Fisher and Carrie Underwood. He was a tight end, or actually NHL star. I thought he was a tight end, but no, I guess not. He was an NHL star. I didn't know who he was either. Jessica Simpson and Eric Johnson. Maybe he was the tight end. Yep.
So she's on this list.
Kate Upton. Right. Kate Upton and Justin Verlander.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's a good one. Eric Decker and Jesse James Decker. I think she was a, spicy content. And then here was a good one. I think that's what it was. Here was a good one that I didn't know either. Anna Kournikova and Enrique Iglesias. One of the ones where she's the athlete.
Yeah.
Kind of. And that was that. So we're going to take this off my board here so that I don't wind up sketching too much more anymore.
They didn't have Jeremy Stevens and Solo, where they just had domestic problems all the time.
Nope, they did not have that. Let's see who else was there. That's
we got some in the the Ertzes. I didn't think about that one too. They're both athletes, so
right. So and they're actually a good one. I like that. Seth Rollins. Here we go. There you go. Jessica, and they did not because Jessica Simpson was there. We did talk about the Beckhams already. Lamar Odom, wasn't he the one that first started the Kim Kardashian
career-ending trend?
Yeah, and that's right. Kim is dating Odell Beckham now.
Oh yeah. She's just trying to she's trying to occupy all 15 spots on the list. Just bouncing one athlete to the next.
So there you go, and that is, especially for there wasn't anything else that really kind of struck me as worthwhile. Cole Tucker and Vanessa Hudgens. I don't even know who that is. Either one.
Well, Vanessa Hudgens is a singer. I don't know who Cole Tucker is though.
How about Jay Cutler and Kristen Cavallari?
Sure.
And I also seem to remember, and somebody could help me out with this. He was a quarterback even for the Eagles. He played for Detroit as well, and married a woman with 3 names. Like it was Bam Bam Bam. That's how you announced her. Oh my Lord, this is going to kill me here. He beat Detroit. 55. It was him. He was the quarterback of the Eagles at that time. It was like the 55-37 game. but he's married to somebody who was, kind of famous. And wasn't Holly Berry also married to a sports star for a minute?
I mean, probably. It would make sense.
I don't really know like that. Damn it, that quarterback is going to bother me. Um, you know what? I'll find out real fast. Let's just find out real quick. Eagles quarterback that married a famous girl, a famous actress. There we go. There, Rodney Pete, Holly Robinson Pete.
Hmm.
So, yes. And they're
Yeah.
still together.
I mean, that's cool.
So,
That's rare.
yeah, but good for them. God bless them. You know what I mean? And there you go. That's as much love that I want to put into the air today when it comes to these athletes. It's like I find that it's again, Hallmark has got this all wired up and put there. It's funny that of course Hallmark is headquartered in Kansas City. That it's at the Crown Center is right around the corner from the stadium and where the draft was. So I know about the Crown Center pretty well now.
It's funny. One of my best, you know, Valentine's with my wife was our original plans got messed up, right? And so we ended up just going to this little brewery in Woodinville, Washington, called Triple Horn. And we just sat there and like had beer and played air hockey and stuff. And it was so much better than most of the Valentine's Day things that you end up doing because there's a lot of pressure to it and everything's expensive. And our original plan blew up for whatever reason. And we're just like, you know what? We're driving by. Let's pop in here. And ended up being way more fun than we probably would have had our plans actually worked out.
There you go. Yeah, I'd see. I'm one of those. I'm a single guy for the most part. So, I have been seeing the girl that I'm seeing right now for a little over a year and a half. Last Valentine's Day, I was getting over the Super Bowl. So I kind of was just like, yeah, I gotta decompress for a little while. So yeah, we were just started dating freshly, kind of. We were 3 months in. I'm like, yeah, happy Valentine's Day. I think I said HVD. Like I didn't even spell it out.
Yep.
Maybe I didn't even do that. So, the charmer that I am, what I mean? I think, that was absolutely very charming of me. And I think I just drank at the bar and chilled.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like you necessarily have to do stuff like a buddy of mine. In fact, the guy's wedding that I'm going to go to here at the end of the month. Um, we ended up going on a Valentine's Day, called into work and went to Mount Baker and went snowboarding. And he left his girlfriend at home. I left my ex-wife at home, and I was just
and
like,
you spent Valentine's Day with your boyfriend. How cute.
I did. It was great. Up snowboarding, had beers and stuff. Yeah. It was a good day. It was a good
Hey,
day.
listen, and I'm sure they loved it. It was like a vacation for them.
It probably was. They're like, you guys should go away.
Don't come back. I am resting. I got the,
That's right.
I'm putting the cucumbers on my eyes because I can.
Yep.
Unless you had kids already, and then at that point, then she probably did not like you very much.
Well, I mean, she's an ex-wife, so I'm not entirely sure she liked me anyway. But we don't have kids, so I did have that going for me.
Perfect. And this is your second wife now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Because that's. Hey, listen. If the love doesn't work the first time, just give it a second shot.
Hey, I gave it a solid go the first time around. We were married for a decade and together for 15 years. So, I mean, I would say I gave it as much time as I could give it.
So let me ask you this question, obviously, because one of the things that I would talk about when when I was doing a dating podcast is the fact that uh, dating me, and I'm not even an athlete, but I go to so many sporting events that it's a challenge
Sure.
to have me as your boyfriend,
Yeah.
and ultimately, excuse me, that you're you feel like the my dates would feel like they are in competition with a sports franchise.
Sure.
How does that work when you are an athlete? Is it just, hey, listen, it's a season. You just got to deal with me during this time. I got to imagine, like, hey, and I'm going to talk about this before I let you go ahead and talk. I know that there's a reason why the ladies of the night show up to the team hotels. All the wives are at home, and they are like, hey, yeah, let's have a little bit of fun and stuff like that. That way, so what is it really like being the athlete and trying to live love?
Well, I mean, the thing there is there's opportunity there. So it's no different than, like, say you had a lot of money, right? It's just going to bring out whatever you are, right? So if you're that dude, the opportunity's there, right? Maybe you wouldn't have done it before because it just wasn't in front of you. So if you're that guy, it enabled you to be that guy. I'm not, but there's those guys. Um, so that's kind of the thing as far as the limitation of time. Um, Even off season is an off season, right? You're still working out. You're still going to the gym a couple times a day. It's just, it's part of it. Like, if you're not continuing to work in your craft through the off season, you may not make the team the next year. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it puts pressure on it. There's no doubt. And then there's just other things that come along with it. Like, I ended up, during that time period, um, I did promoting for nightclubs downtown Seattle. Right. So then, I'd have to go out, a day or two a week or whatever, and go down there. And it was a cool setup, right? Because I got paid for whoever was on my list, and I got, free VIP booths and, whatever. So it was an easy way to go out because I was getting paid to go out at that point. But that was, on top of all the other things you were already doing. So it definitely adds a lot of pressure to a situation. And if there is, if there's insecurities within your relationship, it'll exacerbate it, right? Because then if there's any kind of trust issue, whether it's warranted or not, it just continues to manifest dark thoughts within the relationship because you're not there. So it's not the easiest thing to navigate.
I can believe that. You know, like I said, I got to imagine that there are, it goes kind of all different ways, when it comes to away games,
Yeah.
that there are, okay, yeah, hey, honey, I'm going away and I'll be back again in a couple days. And, you know,
I think
obviously,
I think the weirdest one was when we won our championship. We played in Vegas, so it wasn't that dissimilar to what just happened, right? We were in Vegas for a week, but my ex couldn't come with me, right? So I'm in Vegas by myself for a week. Now you can think about that as the significant other however you want. Now, as the player, you don't actually have any time, right? Like, you're running around, you're required to do all these different things and practice and walkthroughs and team meetings and all of that. So, I mean, it's not like you have a bunch of time, but from the outside, well, you were all alone in Vegas for a week, and so it's, it's a problem.
no, I get it. It's because they want you to spend every moment of time on the phone with them since they couldn't go. And it's okay. It's I don't have the time on the phone, and and now I'm in the room. I don't know if you got your own room or you guys had to pair up because you know it's not the NFL, so it's like, hey, you two are in this room because we're trying to save money as a franchise as a whole. Who cares that we're in the championship? This is the minor leagues. You're riding the bus. We're not taking planes. You know what I mean? So those types of thought
100%.
process.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like you don't want to be on the phone like getting bitched at by your girl while you have a roommate.
Well,
Because
not
then that
just that.
roommate's like, hey, you're
Even if you don't have a roommate, you just don't want that while you're trying to mentally prepare to go play one of your most important games you're ever going to play.
no, I
So,
hear that.
so yeah, no, it was oddly enough, none of that is why we got divorced, but
Well,
it was a part of the relationship that did have some sticking points.
well, and I got to imagine, like I said, that there's a lot of athletes that kind of have to deal with that in various different ways, and that's it makes challenges for the wives at home. I kind of liken it to military wives.
Yeah,
If you are an athlete, or you are in the Navy, we'll say, because if a ship is you're on board a ship and you got to go out for 6 months, you know, that's why the divorce rate is always very high in the Navy.
yep,
It's going to be higher than most because the club is always busiest when the aircraft carrier goes out. That night. That night. That's why aircraft carriers leave on Fridays because
yeah.
the clubs are prepared for it on Friday night because all the wives go in there and they look for their 5.5 month boyfriend.
Fair enough.
That's what occurs, and
Yeah,
it's sort of unwritten, and you got to make sure what have you. But I mean, I've seen it the opposite way too, where yeah, we come home and your wife is like, "Oh, I got pregnant.
yeah,
We got pregnant right before we left, and
yeah.
you're only 4 months pregnant. We were going for 6 months. How does that work?" You know
Right.
what I
Like
mean?
I'm not the best at math, but I feel like that's not right. Yeah.
And there's been way too much of that, unfortunately. So, but you know, not all like that. So let's being Valentine's Day, we'll keep on the good side of things, not you know, the bad side. And,
I
and
like that we
just
keep straying
I,
from it though.
yeah, exactly. There we go. Perfect. I didn't realize that you were a Navy SEAL.
Awesome.
I am a shipmate, and I am a shellback. So I do have my certificate still. Actually, I just found it not too long ago, which is surprising to me. I was like, wow, I still have this thing. Perfect. Um, but that was a long, long time ago. But SEALs have it a little bit better. SEALs would get all you know, you know, they had to go on those tough things, but then they would get like all the time off in the world. So I'm sure
Well, I
that
mean,
they lived a life of luxury over there. And most SEALs that I know that are out of the military now have these big burly beards and you
sure.
know do all this motivational stuff all the time. So Joseph, congratulations. Like I says, I know that that's a really tough job. I am not Navy SEAL material.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't be able to go through the training for that.
Well, actually, it's just like doing mutters every day.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't do it every day.
So and I think they do go through the 72 hour grinder. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah,
72 hours, you're awake, you can't go to sleep. It's like nonstop, nonstop, nonstop. That's just that I don't know how. God bless them. You know what I mean? They're the ones that gotta, you know, to make sure that I still am free. So I appreciate all the people that are still doing that. Hey, whether you're a Navy SEAL or just somebody who's a police officer,
yep,
all the same. Got to give some love out there to that.
absolutely.
But in the meantime, so that's as much love as in the air. So we got all our Valentine's stuff out right now.
Oh,
Let's
there's a
see.
little bit more love. There's a little bit more love. The Orlando Magic retire Shaq's number. Their first number retirement of the franchise, and that also puts Shaq as the only the third player ever to have a jersey retired in 3 different franchises.
Wow. And I mean, he started out with the Orlando Magic, obviously. I guess he's retired both with the Heat and the Lakers as well.
Yep. Yep.
So that's a good news story. That's showing some love there. I mean, obviously he's an icon in the world now, not just of basketball. He really did. It was like, yeah, it's like he's just that guy. You know what I mean? He's
Yep.
at the Super Bowl, throwing Super Bowl parties, being DJ Diesel. I went to saw him at a baseball game playing
Oh,
DJ after he was DJ Diesel at the Super Bowl last year. So
nice.
yeah, yeah, he's a larger than life guy. I love that when he goes and rides with the cops on occasion and does all that fun stuff.
Yep.
So, do I go to Flyers games? Absolutely, all the time. In fact, the Flyers were my first love, so to speak. But let's see. How about this? This was something that I'm reading right now. It's the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, made a very late push for the trade deadline to try to get LeBron.
Really?
That's what it
That would have
says
been
here.
that would have been interesting.
And I got to imagine, like, it was 24 hours.
They were gonna
Yeah, they
dump
said.
they were gonna dump Thompson and Chris Paul. Is that how that was gonna go?
Maybe it doesn't really show, um, but it was. Yeah, he said Draymond Green was the one that instigated this. Says, hey, you should try to get LeBron over here.
That's even weirder.
That is very weird. It's like Draymond, huh? Uh,
Like, has his KD hate got to a new level? He's like, you know what? Let's bring LeBron.
Here we go. This is going to be very interesting. The All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, is going to have an alternate broadcast starring Charles Barkley and Draymond Green.
Wow. What?
That is going to be interesting. That is going to be
That
interesting
is.
listening to those two. It will be paired up on an alternate broadcast of the All-Star game airing on True TV. And they're going to be calling the game.
That is. I mean, I'm going to want to listen to some sound bites of that.
Yes, True TV is. I think you're going to want to do that. Joe, absolutely. Just let me know. I'm there. I swear to God, I'm there most of the games. So just when you get there, message me and I'll work out what suite you're in and go up there and say hello, take some pictures, hang out for a little while. In fact, I am one of the things that I do with the Flyers specifically, and sometimes the Sixers and the Wings. There's a group that is out of there called Harry's Heroes. I mentioned them a couple days ago, in fact, and they bring out veterans and first responders, police officers, things like that. They're 501c3, and they bring them to the games, and it really is a great time. And I'm always spending at least a period in their suite. In fact, when I go down to Florida, I'm going to be going with them to doing the Flyers trip in Florida, in Miami, and in Tampa through Harry's Heroes. And it's a great, great, great organization. Harry and Donna are some amazing people. And, they take care of their veterans because he knows exactly where his freedom comes from. So it's something that if you're there, we may want to just try to link the two of you guys up. So, absolutely. Hey, nope. I'm coming to the box with you. So I'll be honest with you. I sit in a very specific spot, and they need me there because I got
Yep.
to yell at the goalie. I have to yell at the goalie. I need to make sure that I'm on that goalie all the time. And be like, hey. So absolutely, Joe. Absolutely, I'll take care of that for you. But anyways, let's get back to the news since we're talking about some of this stuff. Obviously, the Chiefs are going to extend Spagnuolo. Got to imagine, like, hey, we don't want you to ever be a head coach. We're going to give you head coach money. You're going
Sure.
to stay here. That's
Hey,
how you would do that, right?
I mean, you would do that, and you have the opportunity to do something that's never been done, right? Like, no one's ever completed the three-peat. They have the ability to bring most of that defense back. They have cap space to go get a receiver, right? And then there's talk that Mahomes is potentially restructuring his deal yet again. So he's following that Tom Brady trend, which, if you want to win rings, that's the way to do it. So, I mean,
I get it. State Farm pays half of his bills anyways, so why
for
bother?
sure.
Like, hey, listen, you can, hold on. The Kansas City Royals are doing okay. Yeah, perfect. I got
Right.
that. All right. We own the soccer. We own a quarter of the Royals. I own half of the soccer team, and State Farm is my sugar mama. So why not restructure my deal? That's what I would do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
And how much of a kickback do you think he gets for having Andy Reid and all of those players get paid from, because obviously they did that commercial where they the ones dropping the thing and they're
yep.
all every guy on the team got paid for that one. So
Yes.
I mean, he probably got a kickback from that. Or he's like, hey, make sure that I am on the Christmas card list. So which is nice because I tell you, I saw a video with his wife, and his wife was like on her phone as she was going into the Super Bowl, and there were like a couple of, I would assume, all pairs or whatever carrying the kids, behind her, and she definitely looks like a horse. You know what I mean? She's definitely got the long skinny face and the big horse teeth and stuff like that. So not my fan, not a, I'm not the biggest fan of her, but hey, I hope they're very happy. You know what I mean? Because ultimately, love is in the air.
That's right.
So, and obviously the brother was also there. I got to imagine that he's going to be on the bus, doing his thing, making his TikToks or whatever,
Oh,
hoping that there's not any restaurant managers around that are going to, make him want to go out and kiss somebody. So it's it's amazing how weirdo trouble you can get into when you are the family member of somebody famous.
yes. Yeah.
I
And
have
they
nobody
generally
famous in my family.
and they generally do find a way to get in trouble. It's
Yeah.
but I mean, you end up getting trouble doing nothing, right? Like you're just doing very normal things. It's just there's cameras on you. I mean, if there was cameras following me around all the time, I'm sure there would be all kinds of just stupid stuff put out about me. Like when someone cuts me off and I give them the Kermit face when I go by, right? Like if there was a camera on it, they'd be like, oh, he's mean mugging people. And I'm like, well, yeah, because he cut me off. And you can't tell me that 99% of drivers don't do the same thing. That as you're rolling by, you're like, just what's so yeah. No, I mean, I think we all do enough dumb stuff if we had cameras trained on us all the time. You know,
Yes. Yeah, I get it. So I mean, not that I do a bunch of dumb stuff. Not me. I'm not a dumb stuff guy. Never. It's like
right?
I don't know what anybody'd even be talking about. It's just I am straight laced, very calm and serene most of the times. So yes, that's yes, the brother, the abuser. Yeah, that was what I was talking about. The restaurant managers that that are just too sexy not to kiss.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird, but yeah. I mean, so he has a little bit of a different thing, obviously, because his brother's a problem. I mean, really, the rest of his family seems like they're kind of a problem.
Right. Well, I mean, let's say he's got the brother, he's got the father. You never hear anything about the mom.
That's
So
true.
mom must be okay.
Yeah, she
You
stays
know,
at home. That's what I'm guessing. She's like, you know what? I'm having no part of this. Staying home.
exactly. It's hey, listen, I'm gonna leave everybody else be the weirdos. They don't need to. They don't need me to be out there and helping this along.
Yep.
But in other news, I'm seeing that Jason Kelsey was the life of the Chiefs Super Bowl party.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to go have a beer with Jason Kelsey. I think that would be hilarious.
Well, you could. He does a big event every year for the Eagles Autism Foundation down at the beach in Sea Isle, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it's not an event I ever attend. And the reason why I don't attend is not because I don't love Jason Kelsey. In fact, when you see me in my full uniform, the pants that I wear are Jason Kelsey's. They still have the number 62 on the tag.
Nice.
And, I spent it was either $225 for a win at the time. Now they're even more expensive. It was $250 for the win or $165 for the loss. So I bought the loss. Either way, I spent a lot of money to get into his pants.
Well, there you go.
As we were talking about Valentine's Day and
That's
love.
right. Didn't even need drinks. Look at that. You did it for free.
Well, but and yeah, exactly. He just and I when I tell him that story, and I've told him that story twice, he laughs every time. It's like that's funny because it is funny. It's
It is
like,
funny.
hey, I think I told the story the other day where I at one point I was trying to get his jersey and the guy that I reached out to says you might have a better chance emailing him and seeing if he will give you his jersey rather than trying to find his jersey out there.
Oh.
Yeah, like so yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize I didn't tell this story on this show. I was getting a jersey for my brother for Christmas, and I'm like, I'm going to get Jason Kelsey. I think that he's going to be the guy that's here the longest. And we're talking this is now 10, 12 years ago. So
Sure.
like he was just on the team, maybe it was his second year. And I'm like, yeah, I think he's the cool guy. He's going to be the one that's going to be here for a minute. Let me get his jersey. And I went looking everywhere, couldn't find it. And I'm reaching out and I finally get one person on the phone. I'm like, you don't have a Jason Kelsey jersey? He's like, listen, buddy, you may have a better chance seeing if you could get Jason to actually send you one of his jerseys rather than trying to find his jersey anywhere because ain't nobody got his jersey anywhere. They're never going to make a center's jersey. They're just not going to do it. Ha 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 on him. You know what I mean? Because he wound up being the highest grossing one of the highest grossing jerseys of the year. He was definitely in the top 5. He's sexiest man alive. He's going to probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No doubt.
And it's so interesting because there's not many centers in the Hall of Fame.
No.
I got to imagine that there's probably how many would you guess? I'm going to Google this right now while we have a minute before we take our station break.
I'm going to go with there's like 10 all time.
Are in the NFL Hall of Fame. Let's go. How many centers are in the Hall of Famers by position? I have to go right to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive line. Well, interestingly enough, the Eagles have one already. Chuck Bednarik. Then there's one.
I'm going to go with that was probably before my time a little bit.
Chuck Bednarik was a 2-time champion, and he wound up, 1961, I think was his last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, I was close. I was close.
Yeah,
Jason would make 10.
Jason would make 10. I mean, there's a couple that aren't listed, whether they were tackle guard and there were a couple that played all the positions.
Oh, I got
So
you.
there's
Sure.
a little, I counted them as well, but maybe there's some more because there's this. I don't know what U stands for, but there because it's got the same symbol. So 3 more, add 3 more, but I think that these are all before 1955. So
Okay.
yeah, so we'll call it 13. He would
Sure.
be the 14th center of all time coming
Yeah.
in. So
I mean, that makes sense.
yes, he did go to Bethlehem Catholic High School in the Lehigh Valley. He called him Concrete Charlie because he worked at the concrete plant in the off season. So and his hands were like concrete blocks. Actually, when you shook his hand never smoothed out at all. Like I'm a stonemason by trade, so I know, like, I have roughness on my hands that just will never. Yeah, it don't matter how much lotion I put on there, I'm never going to have lawyers' hands.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and neither did he, because he didn't even bother putting lotion on there. He had them rough hands all the time. So when you shook hands with Concrete Charlie, you knew. It was, ouch. It hurt. That being said, no Jay yet. I guess he's running a little bit behind. Love is in the air, and maybe he is sharing some of his love with his beautiful wife. So I don't want to interrupt that. Maybe he'll be here after the end of the commercials. But we're going to take our station identification break, and we will be back momentarily for the second hour of Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this.
Oh, I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov, a public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And we are back for the second hour of Coast to Coast. And we have Cupid himself, Jay McLovin, here on our Valentine's Day. Jay, how are you? We weren't sure if you were going to make it, figuring that you were having a afternoon delight with your wife.
God, I wish she's working. But I did find, what I have found through Facebook, and since I've become a Facebook friend with Bo Crouch, which, by the way, Bo, thank you. Thank you for taking my friend request. I'm not gonna pay for that. But Bo, it was a beautiful picture of you and your wife. I saw on Facebook today.
Yep.
You had the hat kind of swagged up on the side there, and she was looking all beautiful. And I had to think that maybe she was authentic, but you may have been photoshopped a little.
Such a hater. Such a hater.
Because I know you ain't got them big guns like that anymore. You have become a flabby person. So is that Photoshop or is that the real deal?
Wow, that's actually
damn. Believe it or not, that was actually 2 years ago. That was only 2
You
years
look so good. You look good.
Yeah, well, it's because it's on the beach. Like everybody looks better on the beach.
And this is why I do not have Jay as a friend of mine on my Facebook, because I just don't like anybody trolling my Facebook.
Hold on him now. I don't troll. It actually came up on my feed. I saw it and I was like, oh, they look good together. I was just now Bo knows I'm teasing him because that's what we do. Pags, don't stop being so sensitive over there.
Oh, I am not sensitive at all. You know what I mean? I got my Valentine.
But it does make me sad that you haven't sent me a friend request. I tried to send you a friend request one time, but I don't know how to do it. So.
Do you know how many friend requests I have on Facebook that I haven't answered? I have over 1,000. I have 5,000 friends. I couldn't even name 12 friends that I have on Facebook, but I have 5,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I have an additional 1,000 requests.
Isn't that like the cap on Facebook? I think you're only allowed like 5,000. And I think
you're only allowed 5,000 friends because, listen, why would you need more? Why can't you?
I don't know. It's weird.
So that's kind of what it is. Like, I'm like, oh, $5,000, huh? And that just like 5,000 friends. That's all the people in the world that I would know. Only 5,000. And the biggest part about this is that I've been on Facebook forever. You know what I mean? So the people that I'm friends with in 2011 that I met, like a couple times and say, yeah, let's become Facebook friends. I couldn't even tell you who they are.
No, I couldn't either. I got like 3,500 friends, and you got your pocket of ones you deal with, but the rest of them, I don't know.
Nah, see, that's where I have just a fan page for this, and then I just keep my my personal account for people I actually know.
Yeah, I tried to do it like that, and it just became too much to try to work out all those details. It's like, okay.
And let's be honest. You know how hard it is to see birthday requests when you got 5,000 friends? No, that's too much. I spent half the day doing birthday requests. No, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, like I don't even really go on Facebook other than to post. I post. But if you sent me a friend request, I'm sure it's there. Still there. Because I have over 1,000 other requests.
Well, yeah, of course it's still there because he doesn't want you to send it again. So it's just going to live there in purgatory forever.
Right.
Until what'll happen is that once you go over 1,000 requests, they start deleting the oldest ones. So it'll start to cycle back out again.
There you go.
Yeah,
so it's a revolving door of requests.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Or you know what? You could just follow me.
Probably better just to follow.
Yeah.
At a distance. At a
safe distance. Not that creepy distance.
There's no other distance you can follow.
And I got to imagine, so I was also one of those people that if I got a request from a real pretty girl who's got a very weirdo name, I knew that was coming from someplace in Africa. That somebody was going to ask me for some money, so I didn't accept any of those. And I'm sure I have a bunch of them. Like, oh, this person is friends with the one person because they liked the picture, and they went on to all of their friends and sent the requests. Yeah, that's just what I need. So there we go. Will sent a friend request. Perfect. Will, it'll stay there now for at least 18 months. So
that's right.
So Pags, you do have a Valentine's date for this evening? Yes.
I do have a Valentine's date for this evening.
All right.
I will be going to the Sixers game, as I said a little earlier today. I am going to be going to the Sixers game this evening against the Miami Heat,
Nice.
and I am not going to be painted up. I am going to go just as
You.
Jamie Pags.
I would
I
like
mean,
to
I'm
see
still
you
a Philly
with,
sports guy,
maybe
anyways. But
like a Valentine's Day get up, like where you paint your face like a heart or something. I don't know.
nope,
Why not?
nope, not doing it. Not doing it.
Valentine's Day pack.
Well, as I was explaining, when I go, like I very rarely, like I would never take a date with me to work, and that's what I look at going as if I go to a sporting event as the Philly sports guy, that's work.
Yeah.
And so bringing a date with me makes them become camera guy, and I don't want that to be the case this evening. So
That's
tonight,
good.
you know, I would much rather just spend Valentine's Day. I'm going to go there and relax. We're going to enjoy the game. Maybe go get the drink afterwards. Spend a whole 7 or 8 seconds of exciting stuff. And then, you know, she'll probably have to yell at me because I snore too loud.
Makes sense.
It says,
Like it tracks. Yeah.
Bo, are you a snorer? You look like a snorer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yep, that happens. That
Hey,
happens.
let me ask you a question. Does the wife, does she snore as well?
No, not really. Not really. And
Oh,
I
you're
only
lucky.
will depending on how I'm laying. If I'm laying a certain way, I will. If I'm laying on my side, less so. Yeah.
Yeah, because my wife snores, and it literally is a race to see who can get to bed to sleep first. Because the other one, it's ridiculous. It's no point.
you know, so ultimately, if I had it that bad, I would just sleep in different rooms. And
Yeah,
there are
I
times
told
when
you
we
that.
do. Yeah, she doesn't like. And you know, I know that it's really bad when I've had a little bit too much to drink, and I wake up the next morning and it's like I wish I didn't have a uvula because it's so swollen because I was snoring. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys have all been
Yeah,
there.
buddy.
You've all been
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
The ultimate
Yeah.
cotton mouth.
Uh, It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, like like it doesn't unswell quickly. That
Yeah.
takes like a whole 36 hours. So it's like, yeah, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to drink again. And then 40 hours
Yeah.
later, I'm back in the bar.
See, that's if I had one superpower, that's what it is. I don't get hangovers. Never have.
I don't get hangovers either. But I will get the swollen uvula. That is a great way of it saying, yeah, you are in trouble.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna regret. You're going to regret the fact that you drank so much yesterday.
Sure. I've done the wake up still drunk thing.
Yes, that's what it is. I'm either still drunk or I am fine. I don't get hangovers.
It doesn't help the fact you live above a bar. I mean, for crying out loud. You might as well just have a liquor store underneath you. Well, you kind of do.
Have I ever woke myself up snoring? I'll be honest, Will. I have never woken myself up snoring. I have, however, woken myself up passing gas.
Oh, funny.
Oh, damn.
I've woke up having that like random leg twitch. I've had that wake me up before.
On occasion, I get those Charlie horses. I don't know what when I was doing in my dream, but all of a sudden I'll get that Charlie horse, and you're up like bam.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Whoa! What the hell is that? That hurts so goddamn bad. And I've had that. I have that too frequently. Actually, it's at that point it's time to eat some more steak because that's an iron deficiency.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have you ever got it like we have it in both legs at the same time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too. I woke up one night about a week ago, and I'm screaming, and my wife's like, "What? What do you want me to do? Grab a leg. I'll grab the other one. Let's figure this out."
Yeah, and I've seen it where the knot is so bad that it shows.
Yeah,
in my calf. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
dehydration even. Yeah, and that's really probably what it is.
A lot of it's got to be dehydration.
And thanks
Yeah,
for
it's
tuning in. Folks.
dehydration.
You never know what you're going to see on Coast to Coast, but
What wakes you up in the middle of the night? That's
I will tell you this, though. You know what I found out, Bo? As if I am unlucky enough and she gets to bed before I do, and she's already started the snore pattern. What I have learned is if I take my arm and I put it over her head and I just pinch the nose until she does this number usually. If I do that about 25 times, on try number 26, done. It's game over. She'll stop snoring. But it's about,
so all I'm hearing out of this is later tonight on Dateline NBC.
this is how you know.
My patient, she just stopped breathing. I'm not a doctor, for crying out loud. I was just trying to sleep.
Only on Valentine's Day are we going to show this kind of love. You know what I mean?
Man.
And I am so, and I'll tell you, like I won't lie. We're talking about things that you do that like I said, my girl snores, but I can kind of wake her up a little bit, like enough for her to not snore anymore, so that I could go to sleep. And most of the time I don't snore. At least that's what I believe, because I don't wake myself up snoring. But I probably snore every night. I've been told by multiple sources that I am a snorer. Especially when I'm on the couch. Like if I fall asleep on the couch, I'm a bad snorer. So they want to wake me up so they can watch TV.
Oh man.
I will say this. Bo, last night it was amazing. I was sitting there, going through some stuff and my little recliner there, and Mel come around the corner and said, "You want a massage?" And I'm like, "Is that a question or are you being sarcastic?" Because I don't know what to do here. Because if it's real, I'm about to jump the hell up out of this seat and crawl to the bed.
Because obviously, yes.
I don't need to study it. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I have sleep apnea.
I would bet everybody on this panel today does.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. I have a deviated septum, so it's like that's part of it.
If you can't tell by watching this show that we lack oxygen for most of our lives.
Exactly. Like I don't know what else there is to talk about.
Hey, Pat puts something up his nose and it comes out his damn ear, and we can't figure out why.
Yeah, it's just, and I tell you, you think the snoring's pretty bad. Have me have ice cream before I go to bed, and that's a whole different scenario. Oh, my Lord, I am bad. I am bad.
It's actually why he doesn't breathe a lot while he's sleeping.
No, you know what the worst part about it was? Speaking of that, so in the middle of the massage, she farts.
That is beautiful.
I'm like, awesome. The fuck?
So I got a question for you. Since we're talking about love, since we're going down this path here, we're going to go down this path of love and Valentine's Day. We might as well do the male version of Valentine's Day here. Let's. When you started seeing your wife, in your cases, how long did it take before you would fart in front of her?
So I mean, we work out together a lot, so sometimes that just happens. If you're moving weight around, it can happen. And honestly, the thing that's funny is we've been together for a little over a decade now, and you still try not to, I guess. Like I'm still not trying to just tear one off.
So you're being considerate.
Yeah, like I mean, if it happens,
you don't ever hot box her.
No. That's still messed up.
Hey, and so are you telling me? Hey, so I'm imagining, you're doing squats and she's probably behind you, making sure she's spotting you and everything, and you get down to that low part and just a big one comes out. I mean, what does she do? Does she just embrace it and help you back up, or does she run away? Because I see something like that happening, and it has happened before, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it would. We would just both laugh. in that scenario, because I mean that's just part of what happens, right? Like it's
it is. If it's a part of this, it is part of it. If anybody who's ever lifted weights, that's just gonna happen.
Well, and my wife is an athletic instructor. Like she teaches
there you go.
camps, and I mean that's what she does. So she's not going to think twice about it, because one of the things she teaches is Pilates, right? So you're moving your body in ways that can naturally happen anyway.
Blow, do you do Pilates? I can see you doing Pilates. Do you put little tights on? And if you don't have the tights, you just not go work out?
I am not flexible enough to do those things. So I should do it. Flexibility is a good thing to have. But for whatever reason, whether it's Pilates or yoga, I am extraordinarily bad at both of those. Yeah.
Okay, I'm right there with you. I don't do much yoga or Pilates or even work out much. So I don't have to really run on that type of situation. Listen, I'm Italian, and Italians have noises come out of their bodies in different spots. It's just one of those things that occur because of the food that we eat. Well, yeah, like I'll do it a lot. I do, but I am lactose intolerant.
I see Pags, the kind of guy that would soak in a tub, and then it would just turn into a whirlpool.
Yeah, you mean like a jacuzzi? A jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Not really. I'm not a tub guy. I don't like taking baths.
Hey, listen.
I cannot take a bath. It's like so disgusting to me. Like I'll sit in a hot tub for a little while.
I just do it to soak and relax, and then I'll take a shower at the end of it, and I'm good.
Yeah, I'll do it in a hot tub. I won't sit in the tub because water doesn't stay hot. Like that's the dumbest thing about it being in a tub. And even if you have one of the fancy tubs that has the jets, all that does is make the water get cold faster because they don't generally have heaters.
Well, I mean, that's true. You're not lying.
So that's why you got to pee in the tub. Keep the temperature up.
Well, now I know why you taking a bath is disgusting. That makes sense.
But I won't do that. That's just so disgusting. Like even peeing in the pool. I grew up with a pool, so peeing in a pool is not something that I would do. I would walk outside and just find a tree. You know what I mean? It's so much easier.
Most pools have a bathroom like 10 feet away from it.
But would you pee in the ocean?
Yes.
I mean, all the fish do, so I figure.
Yeah, you pee in the ocean.
Plus, when you're in the ocean, a lot of times you're a lot further away from a bathroom.
Right. So, but anyways, like I said, it's I will go like 3 or 4 months and try to hold it as best as I can before one slips past the goalie. And once one slips past the goalie, if you've been there, like once that happens, it's game on. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I've held it long enough. Because I'll go through pain, like physical pain, to try to not do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I, for me, that kind of stuff really doesn't honestly bother me. It bothered me a little bit when I heard it come out of the white, because when I think of women, I think of daintiness. I don't think of that kind of stuff, and it still kind of makes me freak me out a little bit, but not so much anymore. I spent several months living in a striker vehicle in the Army, and we took poops and stuff inside the vehicle with this little portable trash can, and I got anesthetized to it. It didn't really bother me anymore. But now, when I see the wife do it, it kind of does.
All the time.
You said what?
I said now you just drop logs in the pool all the time.
No, I don't do that.
Like Caddyshack.
I will tell you though, the MREs in the Army really are good for making you not want to go to the bathroom. It just, I don't know what they put in the food specifically that makes it does that, but it really, if you got a problem with diarrhea, I hate to say that word, but if you do eat an MRE, you'll clog up. You'll be good to go for at least a week or two. And that's true, bro. I'm telling you, it's the truth, man. I don't know what they put in that food.
By the end of that, you're like,
dried.
back pain.
It's freeze dried, really. So there's a lot
man.
of different stuff that go into MREs. I mean, I've had them a few times.
Yeah, they got some kind of gelatin substance they put in there for preservatives, preserving the meat. And I don't know what that stuff is, but they don't look healthy. I'm just going to tell you, it don't look healthy.
This show has definitely gone off the rails today.
Yeah.
This Salisbury steak and this gelatin-looking crap is coming off the end of it. Is that healthy? It doesn't look healthy.
Well, but it is healthy now. So people have eaten that most of their lives. So let's get back to, yesterday we started going over some of the top, biggest questions that sports, that the NFL players have or NFL teams have going into the off season. We were talking about sports. I know Valentine's Day kind of got back here. So while we have about 30 minutes left to go on the show, let's finish it off with some sports, shall we? Starting off with the barber of Davis here. He's like, what is the biggest question for the Las Vegas Raiders? Will he get a new barber? That's not as funny, I guess, as you guys were thinking it was, or that I was thinking it could be. But we're at the Las Vegas Raiders. And what would be the biggest question? I know, because it's like, I know it's trying to segue back from Valentine's Day to.
It is. I'm sorry. My talking about birthday.
Yeah, it's just not. All right. Well, we could continue to talk about what you guys do. What are you doing for Valentine's Day there, Jay? We know what we're doing. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the wife out to eat for sure. I like they got this nice little Shoguns. You kind of go in there, and they sit you down and stuff like that. I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna sit down, and the Japanese guy is gonna do the little volcano thing. So I'll probably do that. I'll give her some little flowers, something small, simple. Not much. And then we'll come back to the house, and then I'm gonna introduce her to all the Kama Sutra books that she bought me that I didn't read, but I looked at the pictures, and I'm gonna try to duplicate at least 2 of them.
So which ER are you headed to? You already said you're not good at yoga. You're not doing any of those poses.
Hey, listen, I told her, I said, I think the downward dog, I could probably pull that off. And maybe the other one has 59. Maybe I don't know, but I'm going to try this.
You cannot leave that kind of setup. This is probably a family show, and
not anymore. Not anymore. So, how did you meet your wife, Jay? How did you meet your wife?
Honestly, I met her on Cupid. Was it Cupid? Coffee Meets Bagel website? There you go. Coffee Meets Bagel. That's how I met her.
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah, it was just
it's a dating site. It's a dating site.
Yeah, and you know how they got the part where you got the free people, then you got the people you got to pay a little bit for, and I think there's like even another section. You get the premium stuff. Well, she was in the premium stuff. I was like, well, I'm a cheap bastard. I'm just gonna try to stay with the the cheap stuff over there, And she messaged me. I guess somehow that she saw me on the free site, she felt sorry for me. She sent me a message. I said, hey, I'm glad I wanted to talk to you, but you were on the paid site. So here we are. And so I met her at a Starbucks, and apparently there's a Starbucks inside of Kroger's. I said, I'm over here in aisle 13 at Starbucks. I don't see you nowhere. She said, well, there's other Starbucks across the street. So that's, of course, then I met her there, and then I said, anyway, hit it off, and I said, well, there's no need to date all those other losers. I got you. And that's pretty much
there
it.
You go.
In a
What about
nutshell.
you, Pax? How'd you meet your girl?
How did I meet my girl?
Yeah.
In my living room, actually. On a night, she came in with a friend, and it was like literally there was the 3 of us in the bar, and just the one girl who was also named Jamie. She goes, "You know who that is?" And she's like, "No." She goes, "That's the Philly sports guy," and and you can tell she goes, "I don't know what that means." And I started laughing because I'm like, that's perfect. That's perfect because I don't know what that means either. You know what I mean? So, and then ultimately, like we just got to talking. Next thing you know, we are, doing a date thing, and it's been now a year and a half later.
Awesome.
And that really is kind of a cool thing when you live above a bar. Because I gotta imagine if you're a single guy, and maybe you're wanting to look to meet somebody, but you maybe don't like the apps and stuff like that. If you live above a bar, I mean that's just Dayton Central down there. All you gotta do is
We have a sign. We have a sign that we put out front that says
Yeah.
3D Tinder.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying,
I like it.
I mean, literally, it's the perfect place because if it didn't work out, that's
It's
okay.
not. It's not. You really, I'll be honest with you, you don't really want to start dating people out of a bar. Like I'm not a big fan of that, actually. I mean, first off, this is my living room. I spend a lot of time here. I don't want to bring somebody into my living room. Like, so there would be, if I was dating somebody else right now, like I would be taking her other places. I wouldn't be bringing her here.
Well,
Like, I mean,
Well, of course.
I'd even try my best not to bring her back to the apartment. I would try to, go to her apartment.
What's the old adage? You never poop where you sleep.
That's right. Never date in your building.
You never do that. I get that. I totally understand that. I get it.
So, but the problem becomes is that everybody knows my business.
Sure.
It's like there's no if I fight, if we have an argument, it can get broadcasted if we're not careful.
Sure.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So I try my best to. It's hard living such a public lifestyle, trying to keep things private, and there is a balance that has to be met because anytime I show off my girlfriend, she gets friend requested. On any platform.
Yeah.
And ultimately it becomes kind of like, because there's always those guys that are like, yeah, I'm gonna go get the girl just because she's with him.
Yeah.
And I try to make sure that I don't subject her to that. I mean, she's her own woman. She can make her own decisions. You know what I mean? If there's a guy that wants to meet her, they're going to be able to do so without, me trying to hide her or whatever. It's just that I would like to keep my public life public and my private life private for as best as I possibly can.
I'm about to say that can't be easy. That's not an easy task.
It's not. And sometimes we fight about that. She feels like I'm hiding her. Like I'm keeping her a secret.
That's fair. That's fair.
And she's right. I am keeping her a little bit of a secret. The problem is that, I am also, there's a reason why I'm 51 years old and single and never been married. I have challenges that I am faced with all the time that, I am not the best at. I'll be honest. So there are, we were talking about stuff earlier. Like I am, I don't want to say that I'm not always the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I do have my moments.
Well, I think that's what makes us human. If you didn't, you wouldn't be human. Not that I think you're human now. I still feel like you're a robot or a bot, but until
that's exactly it. I mean, as human as I could be, you know what? It doesn't make it any easiher. It doesn't make that any more of a tough situation. Like, listen, it's they deserve a certain level of respect, and it becomes a matter of respect. It always comes back down to respect when you're doing things like that. You either have to have the permission to do that, or you have to be sneaky about it. And if you're being sneaky about it, it's never good.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing. That's an absolute real thing with what it is that I do. And it's can't help what you like. I've learned. It's like there's a reason why I continue to go back. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It is we even got a name for it. It's called the Gumad. You know what I mean? It's like you got your wife and then you got your Gumad. Not to be confused with Galamad. You know what I mean?
Any of those? I mean, look, you were in the arena. You gotta follow from when you played in sports and things like that. Did you ever run into that when you were playing?
I mean, not with my current wife, with my ex-wife. She was there when I played. And we talked about it a little bit earlier. It definitely created some interesting situations. Not so much in that way, but there was definitely some tension in the relationship because of obligations and stuff like that. So I mean, it creates a problem. There's no doubt. For me and Danielle, my current wife, we actually met like normal people doing stuff. We met salsa dancing actually. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. I used to teach ballroom, right? And she's an athletic instructor and also taught dance. And we had a friend that was doing a review of a dance studio. And so she was inviting people to help with this review. And so that's how we actually got introduced was we danced together at
the salsa fighter.
Hey. But, so the thing that was really funny about it though is when I went, so I used to teach for Arthur Murray. I know you guys have him on the East Coast and stuff too.
Arthur Murray Dance Studios.
Yep. So I used to teach for one here, and so when I went to this event, I dressed like I did when I taught, right? Which when everyone else showed up, I was severely overdressed. And so I ended up like hiding kind of in the back, right? Because people were thinking I was going to teach this class. And I'm like, oh no, I'm just here and overdressed. Damn it. So, but it ended up being a lot of fun. And,
were they poofy shoulders?
No. Nothing like
was
that.
Was it similar to dress as to what you had in your cover photo?
I was instructing. I wasn't competing. Those are different outfits.
Interestingly enough,
it was fun though.
I used to go to a place. There used to be a bar called the 5 Spot, and they would do swing dancing. They would teach swing dancing and stuff like that. And I mean, obviously, I grew up. My parents were old enough, that my mother said, "Hey, listen, if you don't know how to swing dance, just keep them spinning." So I was really good at spinning them around me. I didn't have to move much. I could just spin them around me and kind of move my arms to make it look like I knew how to keep time.
And keep the feet moving to the beat. You're going to be fine.
Well, but then when you start taking swing dance lessons, and it depending on the type of partner you have, you could really start to do some stuff. Like there was this one girl that I started seeing just because we were such great dance partners together. And she was I guess she would be considered a spinner because that's what I did. I spun her around a lot.
Nice.
But literally I was like throwing her between my legs, getting her all the throwing her up like this and almost like doing suplex type stuff. It was like very unique, kind of cool stuff that looked great. I don't know how much of it was really dancing. I guess
West Coast swing has a lot of freedom to it. That's one I never learned how to do, but there's a lot of freedom in the movement there. But yeah, for me, I focused a lot on Latin dances. They were they're just a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what though, that swing dancing, that really is a cardiovascularly amazing thing to do because it takes so much. From what I watched and I've seen of it, I'm like, wow, your cardio game better be on point.
I mean, that's any of the fast dances.
And that's true. You're right.
That's
why there's Squirrel Nut Zippers and stuff like that. That was the one band that I remember right off the top of my head. Squirrel Nut Zippers, Suit Riot and things like that. Like it was, that the new age swing music that kind of came out in the late '90s, early 2000s. But when it came to salsa and such, it's just a different type of thing. We didn't really do it as much. And now I've got it. And,
if I want to do swing, I put that little VR headset on and I can do whatever I want. I can swing you, twirl you. Just don't ask me to do it in real life because I got 80-year-old knees and ain't nobody swinging no more.
I could still try it. Like I wouldn't be afraid to like if you could put me on Dancing with the Stars, I probably wouldn't be the first one out.
So you think you could hang for at least a round or two?
I think that I could probably make it to round 3.
He's saying he could outperform like a Gary Shandling or something.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Bo, how far do you make? You have obviously a lot more skill sets in your dancing repertoire. Do you think you can make it to the end?
I wouldn't win. I wouldn't win. I'd probably make it as far as most like football players do, which would be like a couple rounds in. That's probably about where I'd end up. As soon as you started to get into real technical movement, because of how fast you have to learn it, I would probably come up short there, right?
Yeah, but it's all choreography, so it's like
it's
choreographed. I mean, so you gotta have to. I mean, I feel like if you have the background,
sure.
I mean, that's the reason why the last championship that was ever won by the Dallas Cowboys was done by Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he actually had a background in it.
Yes.
He actually had a background of ballroom dancing. So there was a lot of different things that was able to occur while he was on Dancing with the Stars. And you knew he was going to win because he had that type of background.
Yeah.
But, and that was the last championship that Dallas Cowboys ever saw. I guess maybe you could have even said that was the Arizona Cardinals championship because he was with the Arizona Cardinals last.
Hey, I just tell you like this. So you say we won a championship.
Not really.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's in the W column. I'm gonna take it. Don't rain on my parade. It's all I got.
Hey, listen. And we won the parlay in Silver Linings Playbook. So we beat the Cowboys, and he got a 5.
Oh man! Hey, that's never. You know what? It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. No worries. No worries. Because you know what? At the beginning of the season, we're all going to start out 0-0.
It's true. It's true.
There is. I just try to focus. There's light at the end of that tunnel, even if that tunnel is very, very small.
Hey, listen. Right now, Chicago is on the clock.
They are
actually. They aren't really. The new season starts March 3rd. Interestingly enough, they wait for the whole month of February to end before they do that, and I guess that's just in case of COVID. Now,
right?
It used to be the Thursday after the Super Bowl, but now they wait a month so that if you wanted to during this time, you could actually still adjust your cap if you wanted to. Bonus somebody out because you had money carry over, because you could carry over the money from the cap. That's the one thing I thought that was able to happen here. So that's why they do this right now, just in case you want to re-sign somebody or do whatever like that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not that 100% that guy.
And the draft is in April, right? Is it April, the draft? Right?
Yep.
It is.
April 26th, 27th, and 28th.
Yeah.
In Detroit,
so we're not
Michigan.
Far off from drafting, man. I tell you.
Well, are you going to come up for the draft?
I'm going to try to.
Where's the draft at anyway?
Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So tickets are cheap.
Not really. Well, tickets are cheap to fly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say it's still going to be expensive to stay there and such like that. It's
how much is the ticket to go to the draft? The actual draft. How much do you have to pay to go in there?
Free. It is free to go to the draft. It is free to go to the draft. Now, I mean, I don't ever pay for a ticket. You know what I mean? I don't know if there. I mean, I'm sure there's parties that you could go to and stuff like that are ticketed. But like for instance, when you see me at the draft, I don't pay for that ticket, but I got to jump through hoops. It's not simple to get where the access that I have.
Sure.
And So, and it's like I will absolutely be there because they want me there. You know what I mean? And I enjoy it. Love going to those things. I love being with the other super fans. I set up a booth. Like I'll set up my camera and start videoing, interviews and things like that. I mean, I love that type of stuff. And it makes it a lot of fun. It really does make it a lot of fun to kind of do that. Um, Man, and like I said, I used to live up in Detroit for a little while, so I know that area pretty well. I don't know exactly. I kind of have an idea on where they're going to have this.
Mhm.
If it's my expectation, they definitely blow it all out. You know, what I mean, like it's just crazy how they do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
fortunately
mean,
for
they
me,
shut them.
I have a friend that lives there, so I'd actually just stay with her. And then Rob, incidentally, it's a mutual friend of ours. So if Rob goes, then I may have a job for you, man. You may need you to do some camera work.
Well, hey, listen, that might be the thing because they have a radio row just like everything else and such. So we could possibly be doing our show from there.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting for us to do my show when I'm down in Florida. So I'm not. That's going to be a challenge. You may see me some days, may not see me some days. We'll have to talk all about that. But I'm going to be down in Florida for a good 21 days, just about. Actually, not about 17 days, and it's going to be between going to Flyers games, going to Phillies games. That that preseason is early. Those games are early.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So
Yeah.
so there's going to be times where I'm not going to be able to be on the show, or I'm going to be calling in from the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. Just coming to
Yeah.
you live on location.
On location
Exactly.
with the Phillies sports guy.
Exactly. You'll get to see the colorful version of me. Since I haven't had the really opportunity to do that with you guys here very much.
Where's
It's all
where's
been
the Phillies? Are y'all in Kissimmee or where y'all at in Florida for your spring training?
Clearwater.
Oh, you're in Clearwater? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's that's a great little spot. It's actually like it's just outside of Tampa. Coachman's Plaza, I think, is what it's called specifically. If you
Okay.
were in that area, I'm staying in Clearwater. So and close enough where I'll have to get a car. So because I'm not Ubering back and forth, Ubers start to get really expensive down there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it
Just
started out cheap, but now it's really kind of getting up there.
yeah, I just won't be able to have as many cocktails.
There is that.
Oh, poor Pags.
Well, yeah, no poor me.
Hurt him.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Especially like only in Florida. Only in Florida could that be like the thing.
Yeah.
PSG gets DUI.
Oh hell! Oh Lord! Could you imagine the mugshot on that thing?
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's not happening. That will never happen. That will never ever happen. I will.
You gotta imagine the face would be 10 times worse than the losing face at the last playoff game. Numbers like this.
Oh, here! Oh, look at this. This is.
I did hear that. There's supposed to be, in theory, there's supposed to be a decision on both quarterbacks on if they're going to bring Locke back because he had a 1-year deal, right? They do have some cap issues, and I think Locke will earn more money than they can keep him for. But then there is also supposed to be some sort of decision on what it is they want to do with Geno, and I would venture to guess they're keeping Geno and moving on from Locke, and probably drafting a quarterback.
Yeah,
it would be my guess.
Yeah, because you could always.
Any chance they'd bring Russell back?
Oh,
man, I can't imagine they would. One, they couldn't afford him anyway, but also the way he left, there's some distaste within the fan base for how Russ left. So that's the most diplomatic way I can say it. And it's solely because he was painting himself as the good guy. I want to take a team friendly deal. I want to be here forever. And then forced his way out literally within 30 days of saying all that.
Yeah.
So that just rubs people the wrong way. Like if you want to be a douche, just come out and be like, hey, I want to chase money. And people would be like, yeah, fair enough. But if you're like, no, I want to be here and whatever. I mean, and we saw this before with A-Rod, because A-Rod did the same thing. He's like, I want to be in Seattle forever and all of this. And then went and signed the largest contract in history with the Rangers at $272 million. So we've seen this movie. We didn't like it the first time. The sequel was worse.
Right.
So
was Ken Griffey the same way, or is he still revered up there?
Still revered because there was a couple of things. One, he didn't lie about wanting to leave, and two, he went to play where his dad played. Right, he got to play in Seattle with his dad, and then he went back to where Ken Griffey Sr. had the bulk of his career with the Reds. So I mean, nobody really faulted him for it because he's like, hey, I want to go back. I want to go there, and people are like, okay, because you're upfront about it. Right. As opposed to, I want to be here forever. Just kidding. I'm going to try and break my contract and force my way out. So, I mean, they just hit different.
Believe it or not, even in Green Bay, they still like Brett Favre, even though he played for the Purple Empire. I mean, they still kind of like that guy, or they still adore that guy. And I'm like,
sure. I mean, they moved on not because he was forcing his way out. They moved on because he couldn't figure out if he wanted to stay retired or not. And eventually you have to be like, you know what? You're retired from our team, at least. You can't hog tie the franchise. And obviously it worked out, right? Aaron Rodgers did work there too. But yeah, I mean, that's another one where it's not like he was forcing his way out and creating a bad situation. It was, I want to retire. Maybe I'm not ready. And that was just dancing around.
Right. I thought it was interesting how Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre both kind of played, the end of their Green Bay careers the same way, to a point, similar.
I mean, outside of the MVPs, they had a very similar career.
Yeah.
Right. They both dominated the league. They both got one ring and largely fell apart in the playoffs when it mattered, come up short in random spots. I mean, they
both went to the Jets right after their Packers days. They literally both went to the Jets.
Exactly. Yeah. So now all Rodgers has to do is have 1 year with the Jets, and then go hit up the Vikings for a couple of seasons.
Literally. Literally.
And start showing his junk to some of the cheerleaders, and then eventually steal from what was it from the
university?
Welfare.
Yeah.
Welfare,
Welfare. That's right. He took the welfare to give to the university. That's what he did.
I mean,
I thought it was weird.
There's still time.
That is one beautiful volleyball facility.
Never a dull moment, I tell you. It's just, So I mean, ultimately, we'll see if Aaron Rodgers actually how he does as a Jet this year, as the Jets are going to, I'm sure, probably be, minus 2,000 maybe to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad number.
They shouldn't be minus 2,000.
Or plus 2,000. I mean, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, there's a lot of faith in that.
Yeah.
I'm taking the no.
and I'm going to go to the bank account and put a whole lot on it.
All of it. I'll throw everything on that because it's just not going to be the thing. He might make it to the playoffs, but they ain't winning at all.
Y'all see where Lacob reached out to Jenny Buss trying to work a LeBron James at the trade deadline, but it just fell through. They tried.
We mentioned it.
Did y'all? Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
take 2 seconds to talk about sports.
Yeah, because they said who instigated that was Draymond Green.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Draymond can't stay out of the drama news, man. He's all up in that stuff.
Well, and he's going to be doing a broadcast with Charles Barkley for the All-Star game.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Exactly.
Really interesting.
Like, I haven't watched the All-Star game in years. I might watch that version.
I wonder if Carl's
with a special guest appearance from Meta World Peace.
Oh,
Oh, please let that happen.
And Jordan Poole as the dummy.
Yeah, and who? Latrell Sprewell also maybe making a guest. He'll be the on-court announcer. So
Probably a guest spot by Russell Westbrook. Get some.
Well, if they go on that part, you might as well
stand.
say Bill Lambier will be sponsoring it.
So we're gonna watch boxing. That's what we're talking about. We're gonna.
hey, and if that's the case, then I guess Gilbert Arenas will be pulling security.
I'm in. This sounds way better than the All-Star game would have been anyway.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's going to be like 196 to 190 anyways. So it's literally how many points can we score? I'm waiting for that game to actually hit 200. It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that was a problem anyway. When you look at the scores today, are what the All-Star game used to be, right? Like 120 points was the All-Star game. Now that is a bottom tier team on any given week.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, because you used to watch an 80-point game as like, they had a decent night, right?
Yeah.
Between 80 and 90 points, you're like, okay, that's a pretty solid game. Upwards of 100, you're like, oh, okay, there probably wasn't a lot of defense.
No. You want to go to the basket? By all means, go to the basket. If you can do a 360 slam doing so, by all means.
Yep. Gonna leave it in a card, but
I do kind of enjoy the skills challenges, though. I mean,
sure,
that part of it I still like. I like to watch them at the skills challenges, but the actual game itself has kind of lost its.
There you go. Teams that scored over 120 just yesterday: the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Miami Heat, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Sacramento Kings, and the Phoenix Suns. They were playing each other, by the way. The Lakers.
So 6 teams.
6 teams.
6 teams. And how many games were actually played yesterday?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
Okay, so half the teams of all the games played.
And really, and the Celtics had 118.
So we might as well say 7. I'll give you a 2-point bump.
Right? Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's a little out of hand. It's a little out of hand.
I agree.
You knew that. You knew it was going to get like that. As the games are less physical, they're faster paced. It's 3-point. Is anytime 3-point is your biggest thing. I mean, come on.
I mean, to be all things being equal, they are better shooters, but they can also get their shot off. So, they're not getting mauled under the basket or anything like that. So, yeah.
Could you imagine if Larry Bird played in his prime today and the 3-point is the way the 3-point is? How many threes do you think that guy would have had?
I mean,
just what he did back then.
He probably holds the record for
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, he would probably, Curry would be the second best.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Here you go.
Harlem Globetrotters. I mean, kind of.
All right, I'm just gonna go right to Jay, figuring Jay would have a response to this.
Oh, why? Because I look like the most hee-haw out of the 3 of us.
Get her done.
Get her done, Billy. No, you know what? Hey, that's a good one. I don't really watch a lot of NASCAR. I don't. I watched a few times.
I did.
I know I probably look like it, but I don't. But I'm gonna go with Havlicek. I'm gonna take a guess. I'm just gonna say Havlicek. I like that guy.
All right. Yeah. No. I watched it a lot as a kid. Late '80s, early '90s. Like that was kind of the era I watched the most NASCAR. I really kind of got turned off when they changed the rules. As soon as they went to the playoff thing, so it no longer mattered if you were the best racer all year. All it mattered is that you won a race, and then you had to be good on the last 5 tracks, right? And it's like, okay, well, that's dumb. Like, I want to have someone that's the most consistent all year win the championship. Like, that's how champions are supposed to be won. And so it went to this weird playoff thing, and I get how it came about because Dale Earnhardt, a couple of the championships he won, there was still like 4 or 5 tracks left when he was getting his trophy, right? So it's like, okay, you're trying to keep fan engagement. I get that. But if you're going to do that, then you need to switch the tracks up, right? So like guys like Jimmy Johnson, who are really good on those last 5 tracks, aren't just handed a trophy every year. They have to be good at other tracks, right? And then now,
and make them have to turn right a little bit.
Well, so there are a couple.
Now you're talking Grand Prix.
There's two races.
Exactly. There's a couple road courses.
Well, I say you better do a road course or something.
The other thing that really was a turn off, because I was like, oh, maybe I'll check it out, and I turned on. This was like last year, year before, something like that. I turned on Bristol, and Bristol's a fun track, right? Because it's 42 cars on a half a mile, right? Like this is carnage all the time. They turned it into stage racing. So now it's 3 different stages to win this race, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so now they're not even endurance races anymore. They're just kind of, you can see low-level circuit racing do exactly what they're doing. Like there's no benefit to being the Cup other than, they get paid a lot. But you can go to any small track in any town and watch what they do at Bristol now in real time. So there's no real pull for me to want to pay attention to NASCAR when they don't do anything different anymore. So
I used to pay attention to NASCAR back, like you said, Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator. Yeah. That was the one guy that
had I known that this was going to bring in so much, I would have had you guys talk about this 10 minutes ago. But we were out of time.
Look at that. We're actually overtime.
So, everybody, thank you very much. I got to make it quick now. Thank you very much for everybody. We'll talk about NASCAR tomorrow since the hick on the corner over there likes talking about NASCAR much more than he let on. So, all your NASCAR news tomorrow on Coast to Coast. Everybody, have a great day.